Hey guys, good morning. Welcome to another 5 minutes of recovery. My disclaimer, as always, I'm not a professional speaker. I don't represent any specific 12-step fellowship. I'm just here sharing my experience, strength, and hope in the hopes that maybe someone sees one of my videos that's still suffering from alcohol and drug addiction and seeks help, because there is help out there and there is hope. If a guy like me could get and stay sober on a daily basis, there's no reason why anybody that's watching these videos can't do exactly the same thing. So what I've been doing the last few videos is we've been going over the step process and my little breakdown of the steps and a little bit of my experience. And so we went through the first 3 steps in the first video, steps 4 and 5 in the second video, and today we're going to talk about 6 and 7. And so step 6 is we were entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character, and step 7 says we humbly asked him to remove our shortcomings. And so when we go back to the book and we're with our sponsors and we go over step 6 and 7, there's only like a paragraph and a half, and that's it. And these are probably the 2 biggest steps, I think, for me. All the steps are important, but these are 2 of the most important steps for me in changing my behavior and changing the way that I do things, right? So if I did a thorough 4th and 5th step with my sponsor, I kind of know what the issues are and the problems that I have. And we could pretty much break all defects into like the 7 deadly sins. And so what we need to do is we need to find which ones affect us the most, right? And those are the ones that we're going to ask God to remove. I just want God to remove the things that are in my way of me being useful to him and to other people. Because the way that I'm useful to God is through working with other people, and the message that I get from the God of my understanding, I hear it through other people in the rooms and other people that are in my life. So with all of that being said, so I really missed the boat on this for a really long time, because as I said before, I was really scared to do a 4th and a 5th step for a really long time. And then I did. And so what happened for a long time after that, I didn't stay sober, because what happened for a long time after that is I just glazed over 6 and 7, like, all right, God, remove these defects, and that's it. Like, I didn't realize that there was work to be done, and that like I needed to do the work, and I needed to continue to be willing, right? And I missed that for a really long time. So what would happen is I would get rid of all my guilt, shame, and remorse in steps 4 and 5, and I would feel freer, and I would have a better connection with the God of my understanding. But then I wouldn't change any of the behaviors. Like I wasn't willing to do the work that I needed to do to actually ask and have God remove those defects. So as a result of that, what started happening is I would continue to act the same way I always did. I just wasn't drinking and drugging. So I wasn't really sober. I was basically dry. And then you can't continue to act out and hurt people and expect to be able to stay sober. At least a guy like me can't, because I start to feel guilt and shame again for the way that I'm living and the things that I'm doing. And then that affects my self-esteem and my self-worth. And then I already suffer from low self-esteem and low self-worth. And up to this point, I've been building my self-esteem and building my self-worth. So I don't want to go backwards. And I did that for a really long time. And as a result, like, I kept relapsing. And as always, we know my story. I relapse and then I show up in jail. Thank God I show up in jail and then I'm not dead. I'm really blessed that I believe my God has graced me with another opportunity to stay sober and share the message of recovery. So back to step 6 and 7. So what I found is like they have specific books that I don't know if they're approved literature or what, but like Drop the Rock is one of them, and it's a really good book on defects of character and on how to help the process of removing them. And so what happened for me is I got really blessed this time around. Is I got with a group of guys, and we started a group, and we started studying the Drop the Rock book. And we study other spiritual books to this day, and it's been going on for quite a few years now. But that was an important book, and it was real helpful. But does that mean that I'm rendered white as snow and that like I practice this to the best of my ability and all my defects are gone? No. And so like the thing that I found, especially in the recent past, is that like my defects, I need to put in the work and God will remove them. But what happens is if I don't continue to put in the work and continue to be willing, then all of a sudden they rear their head back up again. And like when you do a really good 4th and 5th step, then you'll have a real good handle on the 6 and 7 of what your defects actually are. And so the best way that I could describe to be able to have God remove the defects and to have him remove your shortcomings and defects, those words are intertwined. I truly just, for me, myself, I truly just believe they're the same thing. Some people say that shortcomings are the things that show up day to day, and that defects are the more underlying things. I just think they're both the same. And if I sincerely want God to remove it, then I have to practice the opposite of it. And I have to have the discipline and the structure to stick to my plan and to continue to do that. And then God will remove it. And he'll move all the stuff that's in my way of me helping other people out of the way. But I have to be willing. And I have to be willing to do the work. The work is the most important thing. So what happened for me is I asked God to remove the main defects that are in my way, and he does. And then little ones show up, and then I have to ask him to remove those, and I have to be willing to do the work. And then, like, if I don't stay on top of my program and practice this stuff to the best of my ability, then they start to creep back up again. And then once they start creeping back up, I need to be willing to do the work to have them removed again. And God will remove them. And so it's been my experience through my journey in recovery this time around is that, like, sometimes they come back, and then sometimes I act out. And you know what? Like, acting out can be really dangerous for a guy like me, because, like, how many times can I act out before the guilt and shame gets so strong that it makes me want to get high again? And so, like, just for today, I don't want to get high, right? And as a result, I'm willing to do the work. So I make mistakes, and I'm not perfect, and I got to continue to work on it. And so our program is always moving forward. We're either moving forward or we're moving backward. There's never any standing still. So I hope that I explained step 6 and 7 a little bit to you guys. And as always, you know, like, share, comment. Let's get this out to as many people as possible. And with that being said, I'll see you guys next week. And thanks a lot. Have a great day.